Happy Monday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by our lovely partners and friends over at Circle K. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, head to any Circle K Arizona location where you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents now through September 3rd. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always on this marvelous Monday by DJ Kyle. He's behind the Mac making all of the magic happen. Don't worry, Shane Diefenbach and Eric Ruby will be back before you know it, but in the meantime, it is just me, Kyle, in chat. So everybody do us a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. And if you're not doing it for me, do it for the boys on the wall behind us. You got number 4, Cam Scattaboo, and Kenny Dillingham, of course. Chat, let's go crazy today. Okay, let's go absolutely stupid, wild, crazy, all of the things, because we got a lot to get into. We got Sharon in here saying it is Camp T week. Absolutely. The Sun Devils heading up to Camp Tontozona this week, this Wednesday. They'll be heading up after practice, and of course all of those practices on Wednesday will be at the lovely field that they have over there. Of course, the quarterback competition continuing to heat up. We're going to get into that. Kenny Dillingham had some really interesting comments about the quarterback competition and really the state of the quarterback room at Arizona State. We've got some winners and workers that we'll get to at the tail end of the show. But let's go ahead. Let's kick things off. Just talk about what we noticed from another Arizona State fall camp practice this morning. And I will tell you what, Arizona State's wide receiver room continues to grow in terms of the interest. Malik McLean, the Penn State transfer, his first practice in a Sun Devil uniform today, looked the part. Okay, Kenny said after practice, it is a little bit easier to return as a wideout. Just simply because, hey, you run a fade ball, you're open. You just come down with it, right? There's not a whole lot to it, at least at this point in camp. But again, Malik McLean is going to be an interesting wide receiver to kind of follow throughout the season and more so follow throughout camp, just to kind of see his role. He looks a lot like Troy O'Meara, in my personal opinion. He does seem to be a little bit faster. He's a good mix between Troy and Xavier Guillory. So it's going to be interesting to see where Malik McLean kind of fits into this whole Arizona State depth chart at wide receiver as it stands through the first few practices of fall camp. It's looked like it's going to be Jordan Tyson, Xavier Guillory, and Melquan Stovall as those first 3 wide receivers out there. With that said, Jake Smith certainly going to have a role this season for Arizona State. Highly expect to see a lot of him if you are a Sun Devil fan. And then again, Malik McLean is another interesting player to kind of see where he slots in. You know, Kenny Dillingham and Marcus Arroyo are certainly going to do everything to get the most out of guys with that build, especially at a position where you lost your star wide receiver in Elijah Badger over the offseason. But it's not just scholarship guys. It's not just scholarship guys making some noise. And I know there's going to be people that are going to be commenting, being like, why are we talking about walk-ons? Well, I'll tell you what, we're talking about the walk-ons because Coach Kenny Dillingham is talking about the walk-ons, okay? Derek Eusibo, he is a remarkable walk-on wide receiver. He's not the biggest kid. He's not 6'4", 200 pounds, just absolutely dominating because of the size of who he is, right? About 5'10", maybe 180 pounds. He had a really good spring. Along with freshman wide receiver Corbin Hendricks, but you kind of had to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, right? Walk-on kid, don't expect a whole lot, make an occasional play. All eyes, of course, still on the wide receivers with Elijah Badger was still there at the time. Jordan Tyson was ramping up. You had all these other guys. But as we have got through the first week of fall camp, Derek has continued to impress. Had one of the best catches that I've seen throughout fall camp thus far, and absolutely just a pretty incredible diving catch, fully extended. Looked like it was a deep out route. And again, it was just a marvelous catch for a kid that's a walk-on, trying to earn, just not even really playing time, but just try and be a part of this Arizona State football team. And hey, we talk about it because Kenny talked about it. This is what Coach Kenny Dillingham had to say about a walk-on who's starting to make a name for himself.
Yeah, Eusibo. That's what we say. He's showing up. I'll say this. He consistently makes plays when he's with the 2 group. I mean, that dude's fighting to actually be a part of the travel squad, to actually play in games. Like, he's in that position to where he's putting himself in a position to actually be seen on Saturday nights.
It's wild. Absolutely wild. And I had a conversation with somebody a little bit earlier today, right? It's not just the walk-on in Eusibo. It's not just Corbin Hendricks. It's not just Tony Lewis and Kuba on the defensive side of the ball in the secondary. It really is all of these freshmen at Arizona State that are starting to impress. Rodney Bimage also in the secondary, Chris Johnson in the secondary. You look up front in the offensive line at Champ Westbrooks, of course, when Jaden Fortier gets back, right? Still in recovery for that ACL, like Jason Brown. The freshmen at Arizona State are starting to impress. And the reason I say this, and I want to bring this up, is because you look at Arizona State over the past few seasons, even dating back to when Todd Graham was here. The last year of Todd Graham, I covered this team, and I saw the freshmen on that team. That was a N'Keal Harry, Chase Lucas here. Those two were obviously phenomenal. For the majority of the last decade, Arizona State freshmen have not necessarily played a massive role in the immediate success of the program, right? And in today's day and age of college athletics, there's the transfer portal, there's NIL. You're at risk of losing a lot of these guys. Will in the chat, Max Ware shown out so far as well. Yeah, Max Ware, another wide receiver for Arizona State. And the freshmen are slowly but surely finding their way into the second and third team. And it's not because there's a lack of talent in the two deep. It's more so these kids are showing up, they're working, and they're producing immediately. It's not, these aren't pity reps that they're getting. These kids are working for them. And you can see not just the immediate production and practice. Again, it's one thing to say that you're having a good fall camp versus you had a good game, right? So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and say that these kids are gems, right? But they have the potential to be. More so than any Arizona State freshman class that I have seen firsthand. And it's again, not just the talent, but the measurables, right? You've got a lot of these kids that are bigger, they are faster, they're more agile, they've got better hands, they've got better instincts than freshman classes that I've seen at Arizona State. Part of that is a testament to who those kids are. And another part of it, you got to tip your cap to Kenny Dillingham and the recruiting staff for being able to find some of these kids, kids that were 3 stars, low 4 stars, that people wanted to knock because they weren't 5-star blue chip guys. Again, it goes back to what I said last week. At a certain point, you got to stop being an armchair quarterback and you got to just trust what your coach has out there. And in terms of the freshman class, give it a year. Give it a year and a half. These kids can be special. And if you don't believe me, just look at what the freshmen last year are doing this year. Keith Abney was a true freshman last year. Didn't play a whole hell of a lot. He's pegged to be a starting cornerback this year. Montana Warren has his size. He's grown just ridiculously over one single season working with Coach Joe in the strength and conditioning lab. He's running with the second team safeties, right? CJ Fight, true freshman last year, played a little bit, set to be a starting defensive tackle for Arizona State. Like, the proof is in the pudding, guys. They are working. They're developing these players at Arizona State. Developing players hasn't been a priority at Arizona State the way that it is right now, okay? It goes back to what Kenny has said multiple times about the bamboo, okay? There's going to be a point where you're just like, hey, you're just going to take the punches. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see it. And then boom, it's here. All of a sudden, right? I'm here to tell you that it's not going to be all of a sudden. These things are slowly starting to take shape. And again, I'm not saying that these kids are going to come out here, be world beaters in year one. Okay, that would be a crazy expectation, but they are certainly trending in the right direction. Glenn bringing up a great point. Everything's bigger in the Texas and Poly pipelines, and you absolutely are starting to see the benefits of Kenny Dillingham and this coaching staff trying to get those pipelines to Arizona State. And look, a big part of what the Sun Devils are doing here in fall camp is going to take place this week. Sharon brought it up. It is Camp Tontozona week, so a big staple for Arizona State football is heading up there, having the practices, having the scrimmage in front of the fans, and then, of course, the team bonding side of things, right? So Kenny was asked after practice just how important the bonding is versus the football side of things? And his answer might surprise you.
Oh, yeah, it's more important. If we just wanted the football part, we'd stay here. We have better access to film. We can create cut-ups easier. We can pull old film. You can't pull old film up there because you don't have a server. Harder to actually meet, to create the cut-ups. So 100% the actual football takes a hit when you go up there with the current infrastructure. But the bonding is what we're going up there for, is that trade-off.
I mean, think about it, right? We talk all the time about the old Arizona State basketball team. The Trey Holder, Shannon Evans, Cody Justice, that group. And a lot of people want to give credit to Bobby Hurley for taking that group overseas, having that bonding experience. Of course, you know, it helps when you're going to Europe and you're seeing all of those beautiful places, but you're also with those guys, right? You're in an environment where it is a brotherhood. And I know it's cliche, but when they go up to Camp Tontozona, it's just them. There's no outside noise. There's no cell phones. There's no technology. None of it. They're going up there to grow as a team. And you could argue that Camp Tontozona now for Arizona State is more important than it's ever been. Why? Because of the transfer portal. Because of the state of recruiting, right? Malik McClain, Miles Rouser, Cole Martin, Raleek Brown, technically Jordan Tyson, Kamari Wilson, Cyrus Fiaseyu, Keyshawn Elliott. The list goes on of guys coming to Arizona State who haven't even played a game yet, transferring from a completely different program where they don't really know any of these guys. So now you're telling me they go up there and it's not just ball. It's not just we're up there to run routes. It's not just there having team meetings. Yes, those things happen, like Kenny said, but just getting to know your teammates, right? Getting to bond with your teammates and understand what they're about off the field, because that definitely makes a difference in terms of chemistry, in terms of trust on the field. And again, more important now than it's ever been. And you could see that. You could see that when Kenny Dillingham talks about the importance of the bonding aspect, the competition aspect of Camp Tontozona. And it also, when you think about it, is going to make a difference at the end of the season when it comes to re-recruiting some of these guys to come back to Arizona State. I feel like you see a lot of one-year transfers that will transfer to a school, then immediately transfer the following year. Well, part of that probably has to do with the environment of those universities and football programs that they went to. Think about it on a non-Division I college athlete level, right? If you go get a job that you just transferred to, you don't make connections with anybody that you work with. You just go in and you work. The job is what it is. It's fine. You know, nothing crazy, but you don't have those relationship ties with the bosses, with your coworkers, with the people under you, the people above you. So when you do get another opportunity to leave, why not? Right? You don't got anything back here holding you down, tying you, anything that you are close with. So it makes sense. But would it be a different scenario if you went to that job and you formed connections with your bosses, with your coworkers, with the people under you, with the people above you? It would make it at least a little bit of a conversation when that next time to transfer came up. And I think, again, Camp Tontozona plays in Arizona State's favor in today's day and age of college football. So again, it's going to be a big week for Arizona State. If you have the opportunity to head up to Camp Tontozona, you've never been, it's definitely an experience that every ASU fan should at least give a go one time, because it is fun. Been up there a few times. It will be cooler up there this weekend than it will likely be in Phoenix. So take the family up. Go have a good time. The players, coaches, they sign autographs, take pictures after that scrimmage on Saturday. It's a hell of a time, especially if you have a young ASU fan in the family. Highly, highly recommend you go give it a shot. Look, I know a lot of people want to continue to talk about that Arizona State quarterback room and what Kenny Dillingham had to say about the quarterbacks today. We will get into all of that, but I'm going to continue talking a little bit about what we saw at fall camp. We did Malik McClain. Now getting to the offensive line. The offensive line, Cade Briggs, again, back running with the first team at right guard. Sean Na, not today, but we've seen those two kind of go back and forth throughout fall camp. So again, something to keep an eye on as we inch closer to kickoff. Is it going to be Cade Briggs? Is it going to be Sean Na? I think they both present Some interesting strengths and weaknesses to this Arizona State offensive line. We will see as that competition continues to ramp up. But as it stands right now, the rest of the offensive line appears to be kind of set. As it stands right now, without Jalen Clem, you've got Emmett Bull, you've got Ben Coleman, you've got Leaf, and then, of course, at that right guard spot, you've got the conversation between Cade Briggs and Sean Nah. And then at right tackle, you got Mad Max himself. Miles Rouser back today along with Malik McClain. We already kind of talked about Malik McClain getting back to practice, but Miles Rouser, the safety transfer from New Mexico State, he also worked back in today. That safety rotation continues to be interesting, at least with the twos. Shamari Simmons and Xavion Alford seem, in my estimation, to be the guys that are going to be the starting safeties for Arizona State. And it makes sense, right? Shamari started last year. Xavion Alford would have started last year if not for the NCAA waiver. So you'll probably see those two guys. And I continue to tell people, man, Xavion Alford might just be the best damn player on this football team. Might just be the best player on this football team. And I don't know if there's a single college or a single NFL team, and Kyle, maybe you can help me out on this, where you can look at and be like, their starting safety is the best player on the team. Can you think of an NFL team where that's the case?
I'm trying to think. Nothing comes to mind. Yeah.
I think that says a whole hell of a lot about who Xavion Alford is as a football player, and fans are going to love it. I'm telling you, you get the opportunity to get yourself a number 2 Alford jersey, you do it, because that kid is a dog. He's going to be playing on Sundays. I'll tell you that much. Cyrus Fiaseu, San Diego State linebacker transfer, team defensive MVP for the Aztecs last season. He is now running with the ones, or at least today he was running with the ones alongside Keyshawn Elliott, another New Mexico State transfer. Interesting because Cyrus hasn't always been running with the ones the first few days of camp. He was running with the 3s. Not sure if that was just based off of the fact that still picking up the defense. Jordan Crook, for the majority of fall camp, has been running with the ones. So we'll continue to monitor that linebacker competition. Again, expect a healthy rotation as fall camp goes on. Will in the chat, Warren would have started last year if he didn't get injured during camp. Yeah, alluding to Montana Warren getting hurt at Camp Tontozona, I believe. That Camp Tontozona last year was tough because Drew Pine got hurt. Jaden Rashada stepped up, had some crazy throws. There's always some interesting storylines that come out of Camp Tontozona. But yeah, Montana Warren was looking like a kid that could have played significant minutes as a true freshman, and now he's going to get there. He's definitely going to play significant minutes on the back end of Arizona State secondary this season. Look, we are going to talk about the quarterbacks right now. Actually, I lied. We're going to talk about them right after I tell you about our lovely friends over at Desert Financial Credit Union, guys. Look, I tell you every day, every single day, that if you are looking for a place that you can trust to put your money, there isn't a better option out there than Desert Financial Credit Union. Co-host Eric Ruby, he has been with Desert Financial Credit Union since he was just a wee lad, since he was first starting to put money in his piggy bank, and he's been doing it because you can trust him for more than 84 years. It's a long time. Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, and they're dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. Now, if you're looking for a new place to put your money, if you're looking for maybe new savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, Desert Financial, they have it all, including investment options and so much more. Now is the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started. Kyle, I don't know about you. How that $200, you could use $200, right? I mean, I could use $200.
Yeah, why not?
Take some free money at all costs.
I'll take that.
And if you're looking to turn that $200 into something that you use every single day, well, Sanderson Ford, baby. $200, put that towards a new truck. I mean, hey now, let's have a good time. Let's have a great time with Sanderson Ford, guys. Look, Sanderson Ford is now the official partner with PHNX Sports, which, first off, I wish we had a round of applause sounder because it's beautiful to have them on board. Look, obviously the trucks, the cars, they're great, but what Sanderson Ford does off the field is just as good. They give back, they donate, they support to a number of causes. St. Mary's Food Bank, Southwest Autism Research and Resource Center, the Military Assistance Mission, Special Olympics Arizona. The list goes on and on. And earlier we were talking about trust, right? Well, you could trust Sanderson Ford because it's a family-owned and operated through 3 generations. Okay, Sanderson Ford, they know what they're doing. They thrive on a no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense sales approach, which pretty much cuts out all of the BS when it comes to buying a car. Okay, they are trying to have the best experience for the customer. And look, they're pushing for the playoffs, and you get the payoffs like deals on 24 Ford Bronco Sport Big Bend, just ranked highest in quality in its segment by JD Power, plus 0% financing for 36 months with no payments for 90 days on a Ford F-150, Escape, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition. The Sanderson Ford Summer Sales Event is here, and they are teaming up with the Boys of Summer for a final playoff payoff sale. Purchase or lease any new Ford and get 4 tickets for your family to see the D-backs push for the playoffs. Get 0% for 36 months OAC from Ford Credit. See dealer for details. All right, let's talk about quarterbacks. Will in the chat, quarterback competition is officially a 2-man race, given Kenny's comments today. I would agree with that. I would agree that it does appear that it is a Jeff Sims, Sam Leavitt race to be the starting quarterback. You could make the argument that it's already kind of felt like that based off of comments from the coaching staff over the last few weeks, maybe even dating back to Big 12 Media Day, as Ralph Amson kind of alluded to on the PHNX Sun Devils show last week. And I would agree. At this point, it does feel like it is going to come down between Sam Leavitt and Jeff Sims to be the starting quarterback for your Arizona State Sun Devils heading into the Big 12. So how did they look today? Well, Jeff Sims ran with the 1s today. Sam Leavitt ran with the 2s today. Jeff Sims has continued to honestly impress me. I know there were a lot of people and continue to be a lot of people that knocked this kid for the season that he had last year. I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds on that because I had a whole hour-long rant about that on Friday. So I'm not going to make you all relive that. But Jeff Sims has impressed. He's got a clean slate at Arizona State. The arm looks the part. Was talking with the Arizona Cardinals scout out there today, and he said, Jeff Sims looks the part, man. You just got to put it out there. You just got to put it on the field, right? Proof is in the pudding again. We'll see this competition continue to ramp up between Sam Leavitt, between Jeff Sims. Who's going to be the starter at Arizona State? Well, we're going to put a pin in that question because Kenny was asked about his comfort level with the quarterbacks as it stands right now, and he said this.
I think both those kids can play on Sundays. I firmly believe that. You know, the last 2 guys I've coached in my last 2 schools are playing right now on Sundays. I think both of the 2 new guys have Sunday ability, and I actually think they'll both have a chance to play on Sundays. If not, depending on how they develop in the next few years or next year or so, could have a longer career on Sundays. But we have NFL caliber quarterbacks on this roster, and we have more than one right now.
That's something. That's something. Tony in the chat saying, come on, Totri, gaslight in the face. I'm not. Now, that comment right there, saying that Jeff Sims and Sam Leavitt are Sunday guys. That's gonna raise some eyebrows for some people. And why? Well, again, you go back to the seasons that Jeff Sims has had in the past, and you go back to Sam Leavitt last year at Michigan State, didn't play a whole lot, right? So, are they Sunday guys? Are Jeff Sims and Sam Leavitt NFL caliber quarterbacks? Well, let's start with Sam Leavitt, right? Redshirt freshman quarterback, didn't play a whole lot in Michigan State, was a highly recruited kid coming out of high school. I think he's got the arm. I think he's got the arm to be an NFL quarterback, or at least the potential to be one, right? Again, that's a big difference. The potential versus saying these guys are headed to the league tomorrow. Big difference, right? I think in reality, that's a big ask. That's a lot of pressure to put on your quarterbacks. Kenny Dillingham's doing it anyways. He believes that these kids can do it. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say I know more than Kenny Dillingham, because I don't. Not about those kids, not about the roster, And in all honesty, the game of football, right? I know a lot. Kenny runs circles, right? He's the head coach at Arizona State. His last quarterback, Bo Nix, first-round quarterback. Jordan Travis, he's in the NFL, right? Just saying. I mean, those are facts. Those are facts. Jordan Travis, NFL quarterback. Bo Nix, NFL quarterback. Now, if you go back to Bo Nix at Auburn, was he an NFL quarterback? Bo Nix wasn't an NFL quarterback. If you go back to the first year of Jordan Travis at Florida State, was he an NFL quarterback? No, he wasn't an NFL quarterback. Had the potential, right? Clearly they had the potential. Because when Bo Nix got to Oregon, had some talent around him, was familiar and comfortable in the KD system, was a top 5 quarterback in college football. And you can't even argue that. He was. Jordan Travis led Florida State to the best Seminole season in the last decade. Right? Again, these are just facts. This is not even my opinion. These are facts. Okay? Jordan Travis, Bo Nix, before Kenny was with them, they weren't really NFL guys. Potential? Maybe. And now look, they are NFL guys. So, Kenny says Jeff Sims, Sam Leavitt are NFL caliber quarterbacks. At least they got the potential to be. NFL guys, play on Sundays, have a long career. As it stands right now, are Sam Leavitt and Jeff Sims going 1-2 in the NFL draft to have the craziest Arizona State quarterback room ever? Probably not, right? But again, Sam Leavitt's a redshirt freshman. He's got a lot of college eligibility left. Could he get there? Yeah, he could get there. Absolutely. He's a D1 quarterback, competing for a starting quarterback job at a Power 5 school, Power 4 school. Jeff Sims bounced around Georgia Tech, Nebraska. Maybe it was the wrong setting. Maybe it wasn't the right system. Gets a fresh start. You know who needed a fresh start and got it? Bo Nix. I'm not saying Jeff Sims is Bo Nix. I know Mike Luke is going to clip it and run with it. I'm just saying. You got to look at what Kenny Dillingham has done in the past when it comes to developing some of these quarterbacks. And that is just a fact. Okay? Bo Nix wasn't an NFL quarterback till he got to Oregon. Jordan Travis wasn't an NFL quarterback till he had some time in that Kenny Dillingham system. Okay? If one of these guys turns out to be Bo Nix and the other doesn't, are you going to cry about it? Are you going to be like, oh, Kenny said they were both NFL guys? Or are you going to be like, holy shit, Arizona State's got their first NFL caliber quarterback since Brock Osweiler? Right? I don't even really count Jaden Daniels. LSU's going to claim him. Again, don't shoot the messenger. Okay? I just gave you the facts. Okay? So, how was this quarterback competition ramping up between these NFL quarterbacks? Well, here you go. Is what KD had to say.
You saw Jeff go with the ones today, right? And Sam went with the twos, and Sam had probably his best practice. I love that. Little adversity. What happens? I'm going to have my best day. Go ahead, try to put me with the twos, because Jeff had a good day the day before. I'm going to have my best day. You're not going to take that away from me. And that's that mindset, that's that competitive spirit that we try to recruit to. Try to recruit to the dogs, the dudes who love that, the dudes who embrace it.
You got the dogs, man. You got the dogs. Look, there's a lot of competition going on throughout this roster, throughout fall camp. I mean, I think, again, you would love to have your bona fide starting quarterback, especially in a perfect world, you got a starting quarterback for 3 years at Arizona State. That doesn't happen anywhere in college football. You don't get a 3-year starter anymore, really, let alone a 4-year starter. So to have this competition continuing to heat up between two transfers, really, again, I think Arizona State is in a fine position, okay? I'm not going to sit here and say that they've got the best quarterback in all of college football on the roster, but I think they've got their starter. I think the starter is on the roster for sure, right? Which I know sounds stupid, but people forget. A few years ago, Herm Edwards through fall camp was like, I don't know if we got the starter on the roster. Well, what the fuck does that mean? We got a game in a couple weeks, you know? Now, you've got legit competition. Last year was weird. And I try and compare last year to this year because, again, it is still the Kenny Dillingham era. Last year, you had Drew Pine, you had Trenton Bourguet, you had Jaden Rashada, you had Jacob Conover. It was a weird room. Weird room. Jacob Conover didn't really belong in that room. Drew Pine had a lot of success at Notre Dame, but how much of that success was his versus the roster around him? Trenton has always stayed ready, right? Always stayed ready. People talk about the measurables a lot. Didn't know what you're really getting out of a Trenton Bourguet. And then, of course, you had Jaden Rashada, the second coming, if you will. What happened? Yeah, injuries, people maybe not necessarily ready for the limelight. Shit happens. And you look at this year, Bourguet's back, you know he's going to be ready. And you've got Sam Leavitt, young quarterback, young quarterback, still trying to make a name for himself, trying to be the starting quarterback. You got Jeff Sims, been around the block, right? Played a lot of college football. And you got these two kids going head to head. Iron sharpens iron, okay? I don't care any way you cut it. I'm fine with it. I think you're going to have a starting quarterback at Arizona State in a week and a half. I think you'll know who's playing. Heading into fall camp, Sam Leavitt, in my estimation, was the guy regardless. Didn't matter. Jeff Sims has impressed me enough to say that it is an open competition. That I think Jeff Sims could be the starting quarterback for Arizona State. He's done that well through his first week. Again, I'm not claiming him the starter after a week of fall camp. It's consistent. Kenny talked about it. You got to be consistent with it. But at this point, it's anybody's spot. Anybody's spot. And you couldn't have said that day one of fall camp, in my mind. Sam was the guy. I still think Sam has the edge. Kenny said it, though. Jeff ran with the ones today. We saw he impressed. He ran with the ones today. That says a lot. If it was Sam's job and he was going to be the starter immediately, Jeff wouldn't have ran with the ones at all, because then you're just taking away reps. It's an open competition, okay? It is an open competition right now. FF Dopester in the chat. Not an ASU fan, just making of Totri for his wild quarterback takes. Can you scroll up a little bit, Kyle? I think he was, let's see. He said Totri, Jeff Sunday Sims or Noah Fifita? Oh, he's a Wildcat fan. That's what it is. Look, man, I don't know why people, of course you're taking Noah Fifita. Noah Fifita had a great season last year. You saw what he did. Am I going to sit here and say that Jeff Sims can't have a good season? No. Because that would be stupid to say. You know why it would be stupid to say? Because Jeff Sims is a Division I quarterback who is 6'2", 220 pounds, has a cannon of an arm, and he's athletic as hell. If you're a U of A fan, you wish Noah Fifita had the build that Jeff Sims did. Because I'll tell you what, if Jeff Sims has the season, I'm not saying he does, just want to put that out there. Just want to put that out there for all the clickbaiters out there, okay? If Jeff Sims has the season that Noah Fifita had last year, people talk about Jeff Sims going to the NFL. People aren't talking about Noah Fifita going to the NFL. You know why? He's not very big. He's not the size of an NFL quarterback. So he can have a great college career. A lot of people do it. The odds he has success in the NFL, not too high. But again, you can call that crazy. I feel like that's a pretty reasonable take, right? Like, come on now. Come on. Like, bear with me here. BC in the chat, Plummer was the 42nd pick. Shout out Pat Tillman, number 42. GOAT. Glenn in the chat, I'm ready to start comparing Sims to Joe Burrow. Yeah, I mean, you go ahead. You do that. Kenny didn't do it. I didn't do it. Just saying. I don't have an NFL comp. I don't have an NFL comp for these guys. Let me see them in a game before I give you an NFL comp on who they are. All I can say is they're both very athletic quarterbacks who have impressed me and evidently impressed their coaching staff a lot for this to continue to be an ongoing quarterback competition, even though Sam Leavitt was here in the spring and Jeff Sims hasn't. That's all I'm saying, okay? That's all I'm saying. I know people are going to run with it. Look, we're going to continue talking about Arizona State's fall camp. Do us a solid. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Also, head over to gophnx.com, click the little Die Hard tab, and it's going to tell you everything that you are going to unlock when you become a PHNX diehard, and it is a long laundry list of things. You are going to get discounts on events, on merch. You are going to get a free t-shirt every single year with your membership. You're going to get a diehard membership card. You're going to get access to the Die Hard Discord, which is full of channels talking about Arizona sports 24/7, 365. Not just Arizona State. You've got the Wildcats. You've got hockey. You've got the Suns. You've got the Mercury. You've got the Cardinals. You've got the Diamondbacks. And the list goes on and on and on. So, again, head over to gophnx.com. Click the Die Hard tab. Become a Die Hard today. Join the PHNX family. Okay? And a big part of the PHNX family is here in Studio K by our lovely partners over at Circle K. Look, they are always trying to get you guys some good snacks, some good deals, and some good gas. Okay, it's with their new free membership program, Inner Circle, not Inner Square, not Inner Triangle, not Inner Octagon. Okay, it's Inner Circle. It's Circle K's new free membership program. It's going to help you save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, and then you guys can save 3 cents per gallon every single day after that. Enjoy your member-exclusive beverage deal. Inner Circle is going to help you guys get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents now through September 3rd at any Arizona location. It's super easy to find. Find it in the app under Inner Circle offers. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Now, look, it's hot outside. Breaking news. If you didn't know, the sun is shining, ladies and gentlemen. So whether you're like me and you find yourself on the Kajikawa practice fields over at Arizona State, or maybe you're hanging by the pool, or maybe you're out golfing, or maybe you're outside at a brewery, it does not matter what you're doing. Make sure you got your Shady Rays handy. Block out the sun, and if you're an Arizona State fan, Shady Rays, they help you block out all the haters as well. Trust me on that one, okay? Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends over at Shady Rays, they've got you covered with premium polarized shades that aren't going to break the bank, okay? They're affordable and they're stylish as well. Look, if you are familiar with this PHNX Sun Devil show, you know me, you know Shane, and you know the blind mouse himself, Eric Ruby. We all got very different styles and tastes, but Shady Rays has something that fits each and every one of us. And maybe with Arizona State's college football season ahead, you're looking to get some maroon and gold shades. Well, look, they've got a ton of different styles and a ton of different colors, so they've definitely got something for ASU fans and fans of any Arizona sports team out there. And look, while the quality of the shades is great, their customer service is just as good. If you don't love your shades, you can exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There is no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support exclusively for our listeners. Shady Rays giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use that code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Sharon in the chat. I don't know who's going to win the starting job and if they will have a good season or not. What I do know is that college football is always unpredictable. You never know which team will surprise everyone. Somebody gets it. I'm glad. Look, if it was all just about the best team every single season, an SEC team would win the championship every year. And now I will say they do win a lot. The SEC does win a lot. But with the college football playoff format expanding to the way it is, I've said this before, all you need is one good year. One good year, and you can really unlock the full potential of what your program can do. Not just from a money perspective, but from a name brand perspective. 12 teams in the college football playoff. Can Arizona State be one of those teams? At some point, sure. Do I think they get there this year? No. That would be wildly surpassing expectations of media and fans. Of course, the coaching staff is wanting to get to that point. That's the goal, right? All it takes is one surprise season, one season that nobody expects to go unlock what Arizona State can be. And you're already starting to see it because people love Kenny Dillingham. People love being in Tempe. I'm telling you, be ready. Because when it happens, you can be like, where the fuck did Arizona State come from? And be like, well, I've been listening to the PHNX Sun Devils show for the last 2 years. These guys know what the fuck they're talking about. I'll be like, I got you. I told you. This is what we do. This is what we do. I'm out at all the practices, okay? I see them. I talk to them. We get the vibes. We get the ideas of what's going on in the program where we're telling you right now, I'm telling you right now, this program is trending up, okay? And it's not here. It's not this gradual decline or gradual incline that you're going to see. It is going to be a steep incline at some point. At some point. 5 to 7 wins in between there where I'd expect this team to fall. Could they surpass that? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Was TCU supposed to have as bad of a season as they did last year? Coming off a national championship appearance? No, they did. Unpredictable. Was Kansas State supposed to be as good as they were last year? Probably not. Was Washington supposed to be in the national championship game? They're supposed to be good, but that good? Shit happens in college football that you don't really expect. So just buckle up because college football is right around the corner. Look, before we get out of here, let's talk about some winners and workers. We don't do winners and losers here, okay? Winners and workers. Winners, players, coaches that have started off fall camp marvelously. Workers, some guys that I would like to see some things as the football season gets closer. Tony in the chat, OMG Totri, too many OGs. Look, man, you said it, man. You said it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Look, starting with our first winners, Xavion Alford and Jake Smith, 2 guys for Arizona State, transferred in last season, didn't get a play because the NCAA is dog shit. But Jake Smith, Xavion Alford look like 2 of the best players on this roster right now. Jake Smith definitely going to compete for a starting role in that wide receiver room, a wide receiver room that does have quite a bit of talent. And then Xavion Alford, I was telling Kyle, we already kind of talked about it. I think he's the best player on this team from top to bottom. He's got the size. He's got the mentality for it. He's got the experience. And he's going to be a leader on this team. Those 2 have come into fall camp, and they could have very easily been like, you know what, we're pretty much veterans on this team, right? A part of Kenny's first transfer class. Like, people know what we are. Played a lot of college football. Been around a lot of college football programs. Take it easy. Nope. These guys are ramping it up. Xavion Alford, especially being a whole hell of a leader out there. 100-yard landlord is, again, certainly going to be a name that you remember at Arizona State. And then Jake Smith, again, just a phenomenal talent who hasn't really got a fair shake throughout his experience playing college football. And I think this year is going to be his breakout season. Another winner for Arizona State through fall camp so far, Bryan Carrington. I tweeted out, I believe Friday, just talking about the defensive backs, right? And how I think the secondary could be the best position room that Arizona State has this season. You've got a Keith Abney. You've got Javen Robinson. You've got LaTerrence Welch. You've got some of those younger guys, a Rodney Bimage, a Tony Lewis and Cuba, a Chris Johnson. You've got Mason Williams. You've got Cole Martin. The list kind of goes on and on. Bryan Carrington has built this cornerback room really, really nicely. Part of it through transfers, part of it through development. It's a deep room with a lot of guys that could do a lot of things really, really well. And I think despite losing the top 3 corners on this roster from a year ago, Ro Torrance, Ed Woods, I think this room's better. And that's not a knock on the guys from last year. That just is, kind of credit to how Bryan Carrington and this coaching staff have built this room, the development of this room, and where Arizona State is going in terms of the model of how they want to build this program. So shout out Bryan Carrington for, again, kind of beating the narrative that he's a recruiter. It's a bad narrative. Yes, he's a great recruiter, but he's a great football coach as well. And that cornerback room, they're going to be special. It's going to be a special unit. Getting to some of our workers, some guys that, I want to see somebody just dominate, especially at Camp T and throughout the rest of fall camp, is Cade Briggs and Sean Na fighting for that right guard spot. Somebody's got to get it. I need to see somebody at Camp T dominate enough to go be the starting right guard, especially since that is, as of right now, feels like the one spot along the offensive line that isn't solidified as of yet. Yes, you've got 2 guys in the Cade Briggs and Sean Na fighting for it. I need somebody to go out there and take it. Be that dog that Kenny's talking about. Enough of this. You get reps on Mondays. I get reps on Tuesdays. I want somebody to go out there, whether it's Sean or Cade, and be like, you know what? Nah, this competition's over. I am the starting right guard. That's what I want. And that's what I think this offensive line could benefit huge if you have your solidified starting 5 up front with 2 weeks till game day. That would pay dividends for this team drastically. So somebody needs to do it between those 2. Another winner through for the first week of fall camp, Jordan Crook. Jordan Crook is a name that I think some people forgot about this past offseason, transferring over from Arkansas. Would have started probably at Arkansas at that linebacker spot in SEC school. And I didn't expect him to be starting, running with the ones throughout fall camp, yet he has. I expected him to be a big part of the rotation, maybe running with the twos. Him, Zyrus, and Keyshawn all fighting for starting spots. All starting for fighting spots. And that's huge. That is huge. They're all going to be in the rotation. But again, Jordan Crook, really surprising, not just in what he does in run defense, but in coverage as well. This kid can turn. He can run with tight ends. And that's going to help Brian Ward's defense significantly heading into a Big 12 conference that does have a lot of talented offensive weapons. So Jordan Crook, definitely a winner. The last worker that I've got is really the tight end room. And the reason that I say the tight end room is because I'm not sure what this tight end room is going to look like. You've got Marcuston Douglas, you've got Harpool, you've got Shaman, the Colorado transfer. You've got a Jaden Fortier, who again is still working back from his knee. So is this tight end room as quote unquote athletic as last year's group? Messiah Swinson, Bryce Pierre, Jalen Conyers. That's a big ask. The tight end room was pretty athletic last year. I don't need them to be that athletic. I just need them to have an identity, right? And again, it's still early in fall camp. I just don't know what that identity is yet. Are they going to be a pass catching unit? I don't think so. Are they going to be more of a run blocking unit? I think so. But I need to see it. I need that group to establish that, right? And if you want to be that athletic room that does both, by all means do it. And I think Jason Mons is the perfect coach to get that out of that tight end room. But if this Arizona State offense is going to function the way that it's supposed to, then we need to see that sooner rather than later. Because the running backs are established, the wide receivers are starting to get there, the offensive line is almost there. You should have a quarterback here in the next week or two. Where the tight ends at, right? Again, I think the tight ends they're going to be a pivotal group for how Arizona State runs the football this season. And even in, play action, are these tight ends going to be capable of playing a real part and being a real threat in that play action offense? Hopefully. I just need to see it, right? That's all I want. And again, none of these groups are losers in my mind. It's just groups and players that I want to see just take it. Just take it. Is it Marcuston Douglas who's going to establish that, hey, this is what we are as a unit? Is it going to be Shaman? Is it going to be Cam? Is it going to be Jaden? Any of the other tight ends? Just somebody go take it. Somebody be like, this is what the room is going to be. Okay? We're going to be a group that we are blocking you to the bus stop, or we're going to be the group that's like, you know what? We got Gronk here. We got Gates here. We got Travis Kelce here. Even if you're not that guy, just show it. Go be that guy. Go be that room. With Camp T just a couple days away, hopefully we see it. Guys, that is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils Show. We appreciate you. Do us a solid again. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX _ Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony _ Totri. You could follow DJ Kyle at K Coop Sports on Twitter. That is, again, K Coop Sports on Twitter. But in the meantime, guys, as always, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.